Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hey, this is Casassa with How About PD?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Alright, so I got your email. And alright, so let me see if I can do this in order. So the first part where you got the thing that said, the loud noise complaint, sheet with all the incident numbers and everything on them?
Okay, the files I shared with you?
Yes. So
Okay.
let's run down those. I don't know if I'm gonna run through them all, but I mean, if we need to run through them all, I can.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
gotcha.
let me run down a couple of them and just so that we can see together what's going on, okay? So 10701, I don't know if you have the sheet in front of you or not, but okay. So 10701 is going to be the first one we're going to open this up. Let's see what we got. Loud music coming from an apartment. Made contact with a resident and advised to keep the music down. There was no music or stomping heard. So that was the 10701 and they cleared.
That's what the C1 is, right? That's usually just they complied or whatever cleared it.
Yeah, it's complied and cleared. So, and in that one, the officer didn't hear the music. They just let him know, hey, make sure you keep it down.
Gotcha.
9766. Let's see what that one is.
So, it kind of seems like most of these are probably just like residential.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. Let's see. Caller states they're playing out loud music. Loud music has been playing all night. Sounds like they're also doing something on a four-wheeler. Spoke with the residents, said they would keep the music down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mean to cut you, but I just wanted to let you know is that I didn't really need to go through the numbers. I was just sharing those with you, so you saw the exact ones I have in front of me as well. Yeah, the questions were just kind of, a brief reiteration as far as the motorcycle. I know that's a tough one, but
let me go down so I don't skip anything. So
yeah, it was just the two questions.
Let's see the motorcycle. Let me see.
That was question 2. Yeah.
Okay, the motorcycle one, it really depends on the situation, man. Like all loud noise ordinance do. If I get behind a motorcycle on 70, and he's got a veteran sticker on it, which most of them are veterans, got a veteran sticker, and he's going to Walmart on 70 and he's playing some music, I'm probably not going to flag that. So it really depends on the situation. If he's sitting in a residential area with that thing blaring, yeah, I would probably do something about that. But it really depends on the situation. If he's sitting in a residential area with that thing blaring, yeah, I would probably do something about that. But it really depends on the situation, on the individual situation. I can't do a blanket every time you hear somebody on 70 on a motorcycle with a radio on, we're going to pull them over and write them a citation.
I mean,
so,
but that's kind of what I was wondering, because isn't that the definition of the code as far as plainly audible?
It is, but it's
of the code as far as plainly audible.
It is, but
as far as plainly audible.
It is, but it's
the definition of the code as far as plainly audible.
It is, but if it's not bothering anybody and they're on 70 and it's a commercial business and nobody's complaining in that sense, then we probably wouldn't mess with them. As they're just passing through.
I hear it. It sounds like as long as they're on 70, nobody's really going to hear it.
Yeah. So it really depends where they are in that situation. Let's see. So, and again, every situation is different, man. It's just like going out.
I understand that, but I mean, as far as the 70 thing, that's maybe 10% of our town. That would leave 90% of the rest of the town that when they're there, it's still plainly audible, and maybe the people aren't calling anymore
Yeah.
Maybe they've just given up hope on it, but I guess maybe I still do. I still have hope that the definitions are what they are. Now, the other one, question one, that's just the Havelock, Havelock HPD's stance on mufflers.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys even target it, or?
So here's the muffler thing. So if you look at our noise ordinance, under, I think it was exemptions, number 8 under exemptions. Do you have that in front of you?
I can pull it up, yeah.
Okay, so all noises coming from normal operation of motor vehicles properly equipped with the mufflers according to the motor vehicle manufacturer's specifications and in good working order. So basically, when I said there are situations where we can charge for muffler noise, it would have to be beyond that normal operation. Meaning, like, I guess an example that I went to back when I was on the road was a guy sitting in his driveway just revving his engine for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got a lot of people in
That
there.
is not, that's not normal operation.
Okay. So once again, it's a matter of the actual definition itself saying in good working order so as to effectively prevent loud or explosive noises. So when they're, they got that little foreign vehicle, it might have come off a lot like that, but when they punch it, and then I think we both know they do, it hits definitely high decibels, and to the point where you could say explosive or excessive, loud.
So the catch with that is if they get an inspection with the state of North Carolina and the inspection is valid.
But the inspections do emissions, not frequency or noise, not decibels.
No, they do mufflers. As long as it's a factory equipped muffler up to manufacturer specifications, that's what they look for, the entire exhaust system.
So as long as it's in good working, as long as someone says it's in good working order, it can't be deemed loud or explosive.
Correct, because the minute we charge for that and they take their inspection to the court and say, look, the state of North Carolina says my muffler is in working order and it's within manufacturer specifications, and this number 8 says all noises coming from that motor are exempt from that motor vehicle. So that's all they have to do is show that they got it yearly inspected. Now, if they haven't gotten it inspected, that's easy for us. We run the tag. It's an inspection violation. We write them a ticket. I mean, that's an easy ticket right there.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I shared with you some of my videos of mufflers. Would you consider all of those just to be in good working order, or are those people not being excessive and explosive? I mean, by our definitions.
So by our city ordinance and the state definition, those are all mufflers that are working, unless their inspection was in violation. And then their inspection said, no, that muffler is not in good working order, and then they're not going to get an inspection.
Well, the definition of good working order, wouldn't that be to prevent loud or explosive noises?
Again, that's up to the state.
Well, I mean, I wasn't being funny, but, I mean, that's a genuine question.
Yeah, if the state says that muffler is within manufacturer specifications, and they get it inspected every year, then all noises coming from that, we can't enforce.
Wait for it.
Coming from that, we can't enforce. Then all noises coming from that, we can't enforce because they're exempt from our ordinance. All noises coming from that are exempt. Yeah, if the state says that muffler is within manufacturer's specifications and they get it inspected every year, then all noises coming from that we can't enforce.
So as long as, I mean, in specifications can never be considered nuisances, because the question is it's loaded in the sense of people can install their radios to specifications, but it could still be out of our noise or nuisance ordinance. So in other words, I understand what you're saying, but those two are not exclusively mutual. In other words, it can still be a noise nuisance while being in specifications, for example, a 454 engine.
So there's no exemption for car radios.
Well, okay, as far as the radio, but once again, the 454 would still have obviously a higher decibel level than your average, say, hybrid on the road. And
Yes.
what I'm saying is that they could still file underneath of a noise nuisance while still being in quote-unquote good manufacturer's order, because it's still above level.
Because they're exempt from our ordinance. All noises coming from that are exempt. So you could have 30.
So all mufflers are exempt unless they're broken.
Correct. Unless basically the state says you're in violation, you did something to this thing that is not within manufacturer's specification, and then they're not going to get their vehicle inspected. But all vehicles inspected, I mean, you can actually look that up what they check for. They check for the muffler, bypassing pipes, all that stuff. I mean, you can actually look that up what they check for. They check for the muffler, bypassing pipes, all that stuff.
Yeah, they just check to make sure the pipes are there and they don't have any holes bored in them, but they don't actually check for decibel or nothing. They don't check to make sure it's outside of explosive or excessive noises. That's what I'm saying, is those two definitions are not mutual. Like, I understand what you're saying, that as long as they didn't modify it. Okay, they didn't modify it, but it's still explosive and loud to the point where it will be a nuisance to neighbors or residents. Explosive and loud to the point where it will be a nuisance to neighbors or residents.
Regardless, it's exempted though, man. And under the exemption, it's exempted from our noise. Now, if they rewrite it,
doesn't that sound like one of two things? Either an argument for the DA to make while they're in the court, or B, like it would just be easier for us to get rid of 9305A, or 8, sorry, not A. I guess it would be 8.
I think that what they could do if they wanted to rewrite this ordinance is to put in a thing that, as long as it's in good working order, but it cannot be within this, decimal, because cannot be within this, decimal, because when they put all noises coming from it under that exemption, as long as the muffler's good, that totally does away with anything above that. Like, because it says all noises. So maybe they reworded that in a way, but based on just the number 8, as long as they have an inspection, their muffler's working, like there's nothing we can do with that. Now, again, if it's a situation where the car is accelerating quickly up and down the road, up and down the road, up and down the road constantly, that's an annoyance. We can do something about that.
Well, for example, I got Sanders over here. Well, for example, I got Sanders over here. I told you about the little blue car. He lives over there, but he's got one of those little foreign cars. Now, his would probably be considered, by manufacturer in good working order. So obviously there's going to be no respite from that guy. But it's loud without him even accelerating. Like, he doesn't have to accelerate.
Hey, man, I agree with you. I mean, you can hear it, but based on our ordinance, as long as it's in good working order and that inspection is there, all noises coming from it are good.
Well,
so
don't we write our code? Like, why are we harnessing ourselves on this issue? It sounds like something that, if we can obviously agree that there are some that are, obviously they're doing it for show. They're peacocking. We know what they're doing. We're not, this isn't a first rodeo. That being said, why can't we find ways to deter that without having to limit ourselves, without having to limit freedom? I mean, because honestly, all noises coming from cars, yeah, that should be probably respected, but I'm pretty sure there's quite a few of them that, no, it's not in good working order. That, like, that 1980 truck is not in good working order. I just doubt it. He's got the good old boy system where he takes it up and he gets his truck inspected, and boom, now he's protected from any further noise nuisance complaints. That's just, it doesn't seem like I'm protected. It seems like the guys doing the worst stuff are protected.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's one of those where if they have that piece of paper saying it's inspected,
okay, but we also have different pieces of paper that say it's still a noise nuisance to your neighbors. You know, I understand that your car is in good working order for someone somewhere, but it's still a nuisance to your neighbors, so either ride it under 10 miles an hour, you know, barely touch that thing until you get out of the neighborhood, or, you know, because here's the thing is, yeah, we used to pull over for stuff like that all the time, and you'd have 30 days to fix it, or you'd get the ticket. It wasn't both. You know, you had a chance to correct the problem.
Yeah.
Well, we don't seem to be doing any of that anymore. And it's frustrating, obviously.
Well, and our statute maybe needs, or our ordinance maybe needs to be rewritten to clarify things like that. But the way it's written, man, all noise is coming from the muffler. I mean, that's how it's written.
That all noises are going to be fine as long as somebody signed off on that once a year.
Exactly. As long as somebody signed off.
So that's not to say, yeah, we got a plane over us. But that's not to say that somebody can't obviously go get it inspected, then go back home and put on their modified pipe or whatever else they want. We have a lot of backyard mechanics. So we obviously know plenty of loopholes, but we're not building any protections for ourselves.
Yeah, and you can clearly hear when the pipes are bypassed, though. I mean,
I know. I was raised by bikers, buddy. I know when they've drilled the holes, or I know when they've put a pipe slip on it. Hold on. I'm sorry, I can't hear. And see, these planes, I think these planes kind of emphasize it. I think that's why the silence in between is so much more important, because we do have these, you know, and I love them. I respect them. The air show is a great boon for the economy, but the rest of the time in between, if that's saturated too, well, then I'm literally inundated, like I told you, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I've got averages to prove it. My nephew has seen me record out here all day with my decibel meter that I have an average over 70 decibels. Now, OSHA and EPA both agree that that's unhealthy for me. I'm actually attending a symposium today with a bunch of doctors I'm just watching, mind you, but this is what they do. They're called noise communities, and this is what they're fighting, because it creates a psychological and a physiological damage. It really does. Like, that's what this symposium is on. Sorry, go ahead.
The aircraft, they are exempt. Like,
I know. Yeah, I've seen that. I know that. Like I said, I love them. I know them. But that's what makes the silence in between them that much more important. You understand? Because we do have planes in those busy quarters where they're burning up the oil, and we understand that. We know it. We're used to it. So when you have like 10 minutes of silence,
I'm not arguing that there are not noise. I've never argued that. I'm just saying what. I've never argued that. I'm just saying what.
Oh no, I was just emphasizing what makes the silence that much more important, because we do deal with a regular noise, like we were talking about. That's kind of a normal summer thing. So we are used to certain noises. We didn't want to add more. I guess that's really where I'm at, is we really don't want to introduce a whole bunch more. We don't want to start allowing it. You know, you let A slip by, well, B's going to come through, and before you know it, you're at F. That's just, you know, it's a valid theory. It's called the slippery slope. It's one that's been around a long time, and we've got to try to find ways to deter as well as protect ourselves. Like, if this muffler thing is, I find that kind of frustrating, and I'm going to get a hold of a few of the commissioners to try and help me figure out the why on this, because it just doesn't sound right. You know, I don't care what some good old boy said. If it's loud and annoying, is that not a noise nuisance by define? You know, by our very code.
Yeah, and the way it's written, it is not.
by the way it's written, it is. It's just the exemption is kind of general, and it's being used a little too broadly, I feel. You know, all noises coming from normal operation. Well, some of these things, normal itself is subjective term, you know, but
I agree.
that being said, some of these, regardless if you call them normal or not, these jacked up trucks that sound like diesel trucks going by, that's not normal operation. They're not towing anything, but they have a low frequency noise that's just off the charts, man. It's like a diesel truck. Like, not a diesel truck, but a dump truck. It's like a loaded semi passing by. Well, he doesn't have anything on him. He's not towing anything. Why does he have that? Because he's modified that pipe. Now, it may be up to standards or manufacturers, but it's still loud. It's still annoying. It's still a nuisance. And like I said, there's a symposium going on today that says it's physiologically harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully this community gets more attention, you know, and then you'll eventually hear of them that way too. But I'm trying to introduce you to them now because it's a pivotal thing. It's vital. It's valid information. The EPA has been hindered for the last 30 years on noise. Most people don't know that. They've been hindered.
Yeah, man, you're talking about stuff way above my pay grade.
Well, it includes your pay grade. That's why I'm bringing you in with it, you know, because it includes yours. Instead of using these blanket generalities to kind of protect noises we know are being harmful, but hey, it says. No, we also know, hey, it hurts. So we're going to figure out a way, you know, to get rid of these generalities. I understand all noises, but normal, no, that little car, that little foreign car, it is not normal. The way he hums like a mosquito at, you know, 70, 80, 90 decibels is not normal operation of any vehicle in America. And I will argue that point, you know. See, he's done something. I don't care who's checked off on it, signed off on it, or where he imported it from. It's not normal operation. For this town, this country, none of it. It's way above decibels. You know, and that's just my take on it, man. But I appreciate you calling me and answering those questions directly. You know, it's a lot better than just guessing.
Yeah, I'm doing what I can, man. I mean, it's like, you know, we have to work within our noise ordinance.
I know. I'll get a hold of the commissioners to help figure out what's going on with this exemption. I don't believe that. I don't like that. I don't think they will either, but we'll have to figure that out. That's not a normal operation. I think we both agree. You know?
No, I don't know. I agree that it is a normal operation if that's how it's coming from the manufacturer, and the state is saying that is legal. So I would agree if that's the way it is, that's the way it is, unfortunately. Now, if they're bypassing stuff and stuff like that, and they're going back door to get inspections and all that, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But I know, like, a Corvette is going to be allowed when they accelerate. I mean, it's just these big diesel trucks, they're going to be allowed when they accelerate, and that's coming from the manufacturer. Like, a friend of mine has one, and it's loud when he accelerates. I mean,
most of them don't come jacked up or with the turbo boost on it, but when they do, I understand the ones you're talking about, the high end or the Raptors or the real nice ones.
Hey man, those are and hey.
Well, that's not these guys, you know. That's not these guys. There's a 1990s pickup truck running around out there sitting on lifts. It's because we had that lift guy over there on 101, and I'm cool with him making his money, but you know, there's just so many questions. So many questions as allowances. That's a whole other issue. I'm not even going to bore you with it today, but the fact is you're telling me that any muffler, regardless of how loud it is, you know, I can drop a 454. As long as it's street legal, I can drop it in my car. And it's totally legal, no matter how much it rumbles the house next door, you know, as long as I'm not sitting in my driveway just revving it. That just, it doesn't sound correct at all. There's a reason that they used to put those drag racers on trailers to take them down to the raceway. And it's not just because they don't want to get it injured. It's because it's mostly not legal.
Yeah, well, again, in that exemption, it says mufflers, manufacturer specifications. So
that one just, no, I mean, according to the motor vehicle manufacturer specifications. I mean, that doesn't cover any of these aftermarkets or, any of these, pretty much just aftermarkets. As someone puts it on right, sure, you could say it's by the maker's manufacturer, but that's not Ford's intention with that Ford car. You see what I'm saying? They can still embellish these things, and without drilling the holes. I mean, we've gotten a lot better without the slip cups or the drilled holes or whatever. Now they've got just standard dual pipes and everything. I put, like I said, I put a video up and it shows all these legal things that are legal to buy on Amazon, and I can put them on my car, but it will raise my decibels just a nonsensical level. It's not it's not cool, man. We can't protect the people doing wrong more than we're protecting the people who are asking questions. We just can't. That's not how society works. It really isn't. We have to protect the majority, not the few people who want to ride around loud because they think it looks cool because they're peacocking. I got one out front right now. I mean, my garage door is vibrating. Whatever. I'll just record it and move on, I guess. It's not okay. So we'll figure something out, buddy. I just, like I said, I don't want to destroy the friendship or nothing. I don't want to destroy the relationship we're trying to build here. I appreciate the communication.
Yeah, all I have is what's in front of me now and what I'm reading.
I know, but that sounds like excuses for the people being buttheads rather than people who've been in this town 30, 40 years paying taxes, who've worked for the United States Marine Corps, people who've put in their time. You're not protecting the people who put in time. You're protecting the guy who wants to be a jackbutt just because of a little definition here. Well, I could use your weight swinging with the commissioners. Me and you should both be going to the commissioner saying, can you guys explain this? How will this work for us? He's having a problem with this muffler, which he's right, thanks to 93, or was it 94? He's right thanks to the muffler definition, but he's, wrong due to the exemption. Like, there's no reason me and you both couldn't be posing this to Lewis, or maybe even if we have an attorney, we could be posing this to someone else instead of you just saying, sorry, Bear, you're going to be screwed. Because that's really the way I hear it from my perspective. And I know that's not what you're saying, but that's what I'm hearing is, no, as long as they've got a check mark, they'll be covered.
Yeah, I mean, that's most laws in America, man, is, yeah, I mean, that's most laws in America, man, is, yeah, I mean, that's most laws in America, man, is.
Most laws cover the bad guys, not the good guys?
Unfortunately. There are loopholes, and maybe the commissioners can rewrite it to be more clear and include exhaust tips on there. That's the biggest thing is exhaust tips.
I've seen that.
That's not worded in here at all. It just says all noises.
Well, they thought they were doing well with the blanket of just loud or excessive. Those two words alone, those are subjective too, but a lot less subjective than normal. Because the term normal in Malaysia, their cars are loud and mosquitoing. Well, normal in the South, as we find out, they're a lot more diesel friendly. It's a little more lower rumble. So normal is subjective and regional. Whereas, the terms loud and explosive, well, the guy in Malaysia knows loud just the same as the guy in the South. Now, they may be different decibels, different actual, points on a meter somewhere, but they both know when something's loud. They have a word for it. So that's less subjective is what I'm saying. Those two definitions alone say that you can pull that man and at least let him know that it's way loud. Maybe force him to go get an inspection and figure out why it's loud. And if he returns to you with that manufacturer's blah, 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 to say, okay, that's great. Then we got to go to the commissioner and ask what's going on here. How do we address these two problems where both the parties are correct? Like you said, that'll probably include a rewrite or a redefinition, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. We got to start somewhere. And it doesn't start with just telling people we can't. But like I said, that sounds pointed. I don't want it to sound pointed, so I'm just going to leave it at I appreciate you giving me a call and giving me direct answers.
Yeah, man.
And I hope you have a great day.
Hey, you too, man.
Bye.
Bye.
trail is finished and the reckoning